Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to CineFix at Sundance. It's snowing.
It's snowing on us.
It is snowing on us.
It hasn't stopped. It's just been going and going.
Yeah.
It's been going for a couple of
Shows no
days
signs
now.
of slowing.
But we from CineFix T, myself, Mashable Entertainment editor Josh Dickey, we are here covering Sundance, and we're getting to see all kinds of rad movies. So what we're going to do for our coverage of it is every morning we're going to shoot a couple of things about what we saw yesterday and what we're about to see today. And then when we get back to town next week, we're going to do a big roundup of some of our favorite things from Sundance.
The best and the worst.
Ooh, possibly the worst. Everybody likes that better.
There are
Right.
some worsts too, but that is an annual occurrence.
That's
Yeah.
part of the fun of Sundance.
It
though.
is.
You've
There's
been
some bad
to
movies here.
many more Sundances than T or myself have. This is your first,
Yeah,
right?
this is my
Yeah.
first.
I've-
Anyone who had been to more than zero would have been to more
would have
Sundances
been
than me
your
until
senior.
today.
So let's get going. What did we see yesterday, Josh?
What did we see yesterday? I forgot.
Did you forget already?
I remember things.
Yeah,
T,
no.
you want to get going?
Now, spoiler alert, I've actually been here like 2 days. I don't know, I'm losing track of time
It all is
already.
running
But I've
together.
seen probably 5 to 6 movies at this point, and there's one that I already loved. It was one that I probably teed myself up, no pun intended, to love because its writer-director Taylor Sheridan is like this is his directorial debut in Wind River. It has Jeremy Renner, which was a bit of a minus, a little bit of a deduction for me at first until I saw him in the movie. You know, Jeremy Renner, he said a lot of less than smart things in the press over the years, which kind of makes him a distraction. But I think within this movie, his performance is spectacular. The story is super simple and straightforward. It's basically about trying to find the murderer of a girl who was found dead in the woods in the freezing Wyoming conditions. And it's Jeremy Renner, who's not even a police officer of any sort. He's like a wilderness ranger type. And he teams up with an FBI agent and Elizabeth Olsen to try to find this girl's killer. It's a very, very simple, straightforward story, even more straightforward than I would say Hell or High Water, but it's fantastic because the characters and even the environment itself as a character gives so much texture and interest. There's no, car chases or anything like that, but there are some exciting kind of violent scenes, so you will get your bloodlust satisfied.
I remember what I saw now.
All right.
I saw a Ghost Story yesterday, which is the David Lowery film.
Yeah.
A much
starring-
ballyhooed and very hyped movie here.
We're
Very
trying to
hype
get
movie.
into that on Wednesday, Tuesday?
Trying.
Trying.
It was actually our most anticipated film of the 2017 festival. I pulled all the most anticipated lists together, and that was the one that got mentioned the most. It stars Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara as a couple living somewhere in middle America. He dies, no spoilers here, and comes back immediately as a ghost.
To be fair, it is called A Ghost Story.
A ghost
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
exactly. And to basically observe her grieving him and moving on, and haunts the house that they lived in together in a white sheet with 2 holes in the middle of it, which is interesting because you see Casey Affleck for about an aggregate of maybe 4 to 5 minutes. And the rest of the movie, you just see a guy in a white sheet. It gets...
Why even pay for Casey Affleck then?
I think it could easily be just a stand-in for all
Yeah.
we know.
Probably is.
Does he do the ooh?
Something along those lines. They actually do play around with that a little bit. There's some funny
That's
jump
funny.
scares in it that have nothing to do with the ghosts, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But it's a really lyrical movie. It actually has a very existential sort of twist at the end that's very interesting. Critics loved it. It's kind of a critics movie. Will human beings like it?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Hard
A24
to-
is distributing it. I think it's going to be one of the Sundance movies we talk about now, and then we'll be long forgotten.
It'll be an interesting heat check for A24. They kind of can't do anything wrong as far as I can tell.
Lifestyle
but-
brand A24.
Yeah, exactly. One of the other movies we went to see last night was Colossal, and I was really excited about this movie, which is strange because Anne Hathaway is there.
I was
But-
excited for Sudeikis.
Yeah, Sudeikis is always good, and I heard about this movie a long time ago. It actually premiered at Toronto, and then I think it played Fantastic Fest or something else like that. But basically, it's about Anne Hathaway is a drunk trying to get her life put together, and she realizes that all of a sudden, this giant kaiju starts attacking Seoul. And she discovers that she is actually controlling this kaiju.
Similar to how Dickey just demonstrated.
Correct, yeah. It had some really light, some really fun moments where, like,
Yeah.
obviously it's a drunk controlling a kaiju. Like,
Right.
that's so much fun.
I was also very excited for this movie because one thing I was really excited to see at Sundance were weird movies.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we don't really get weird movies that much in the mainstream anymore. Everyone's making sequels and reboots and all that kind of stuff. And this concept sounded so weird, and it is, and they just don't pull it off. I feel like ultimately none of the characters are terribly likable. In fact, they're aggressively unlikable by the end.
Yeah.
The first maybe 1/3 of the movie seemed like it had the potential to be fun, and then somewhere in there things take a turn and it really just doesn't work at all.
Obviously not everybody in real life is likable, and not everybody
Of
in
course
any
not.
given group of people is likable. But also, like, come on, give me something.
Hey, we saw Mudbound together the other night.
We did. That was in fact my first movie here at Sundance.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh. The more I sort of have time away from that movie, the more I really like it. I think
Yeah.
it was really terrific. Dee Reese, director of Pariah, adapting a novel about the American South right after World War II, following two families, a white family who is the landowners and a black family who is working their land, and they're sort of renters. And it's really about some very real life, sort of daily life clashes that would go on in that scenario.
And the lingering effects of slavery being as blatant as they were at that point in time.
Yeah, it is
The racism of the 1940s lacks the subtlety that it
Sure.
has today.
Sure.
It's a really powerful movie. Some of the war stuff I thought was terrific. I wanted more of the war stuff, to be honest with you.
I think the thing that blew me away the most was the performances, because I didn't even realize Mary J. Blige was in this movie.
There's a lot of people who didn't, myself included.
Unrecognizable, because while watching the movie, I was just like, who is this lovely blacktress? I feel like she looks so familiar, and I can't quite place her. And then you're just like, and how about Mary J. Blige?
I want
and
her to be in everything now.
I actually took a sip of something to spit take because I was so flabbergasted. She's
Shoot up
amazing.
That's happened with like 3 or 4 people since who I've talked to about the movie, and I was like, what about Mary J. Blige? And they go, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are a couple movies that that we liked so far. What are we seeing today that we're excited about?
Well, only I'm excited about the 4-hour Grateful Dead documentary,
Yeah.
which is
Also
tonight. But I'm going to go
And
see
8
it.
or 9 people that will be in the theater.
Yeah, there won't be many. You guys don't care about that, so I'm going to talk about it. I saw them perform last night here in Sundance. I was pretty excited about that, as you
It
guys
was
witnessed
very
when I came back to the
emotional.
condo.
Yeah. You were a wreck.
But
a beautiful wreck.
I was a beautiful, emotional wreck. But I'm also going to see Call Me By Your Name, which is this afternoon. There's a P&I. The screening went over very, very well last night. Armie Hammer and a kid who is kind of a newcomer. I can't think of his name.
Which I'm still rooting for Armie. For some reason, I'm still rooting for Armie Hammer to be good in something.
Well, he's a very tall, strapping, handsome fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got everything laid out for him.
Right.
I can remember some titles of what we're seeing today.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Patty Cakes. You're seeing something Lemon.
I'm seeing Lemon, which is Brett
Yeah.
Gelman and Michael Cera, and a really, really funny cast. I'm excited to see about it. It's sort
Yeah.
of like a dark comedy about trying to get your life put back together.
Yeah, we're also seeing Marjorie Prime.
Yes, which
And
is
I-
John Hamm and Gene
Yeah.
Davis, and that
Yeah.
one should be pretty cool.
And I think I might be seeing Brigsby Bear today. That's either today or tomorrow. To be honest with you, I don't even remember
Yeah.
what movies are what and why I even asked for tickets to any of these, but I'm just trusting my original judgment and hoping that the publicists show up.
And that's the fun thing about Sundance too. It's just like this shotgun approach of like, I just want to see movies. There's
Yeah.
another movie I'm going to see tonight specifically because it was described as Jarmusch-esque. I don't even know what that means.
That's
but
about
it's
as Sundancey as you get when it
It's
comes
a
to
Chinese
adjectives.
film that's called Jarmusch. It's described as Jarmusch-esque.
Yeah.
So we'll be back tomorrow to talk about some of those movies, and so come back tomorrow to see what we thought about them, and stick around CineFix for more Sundance coverage. We'll
I think
see
you
guys
should
later.
come back tomorrow to see how high the snow will pile on your
Yeah,
hair.
we're gonna stand here.
Yeah, just see
for the rest
how
of the
many
day.
inches
That's
have
awesome.
obscured our bodies by tomorrow.
I can't recut this at all because the snow level will be
Continuity.
continuity.